might just get straight into this because I am so excited about this style, and I know I've been showing you little snippets and little sneak peeks, and I can tell that you guys are getting just as excited as I am. So the beautiful Daphne dress will be getting released to my VIP subscribers this Sunday at 8 p.m. Most of you that have been following for a little while probably have noticed she's actually an adaptation of some of my most popular designs. So the Dahlia dress I've had for a few years now, and she has been so popular over the years. She is the one with the buttons down the front and has done really well. And I wanted to replicate something really similar this winter, but I have taken the button front off because I really wanted to make this style so versatile and so flexible and so easy to wear, not just throughout winter, but throughout the entire year and throughout all the seasons. So I've actually used two different types of fabric. So the charcoal grey, which is the one that I'm wearing, so you can see, it's got the beautiful crinkle. It's not a black, it's a really dark charcoal. So it's a yarn dye with black and a really dark grey. This is my super popular crinkle fabric that I love to use. And the oatmeal and the charcoal are both made in this gorgeous crinkle, which you know is super soft. Oh my God, I'm getting really distracted because I can hear Ethan yelling. I hope you can't hear him. Okay, back to my train of thought. So I know you guys really love the crinkle as much as I do. It's one of the softest fabrics that I've ever used, and I love to use it in most of my styles. So I had to bring it back for this one because it just has such a beautiful texture, and whether you're wearing this dress on its own or layering it with something underneath or a jacket over, it's such a nice thing to have a little bit of contrast in texture, and the beautiful crinkle will always create that. So it really heightens and elevates the style that much more, having that beautiful texture. It really is so luxurious. So the lovely charcoal and the oatmeal, which I love to keep bringing back into my collections, are both made from the beautiful high twist crinkle. And then I've also chosen this beautiful smooth vintage wash in this lovely dove grey because I honestly could not go past this colour, and I'm not sure if this is actually going to come up so well because it's evening. Our lights in this house are quite yellow, but I have purchased a quite white ring light to hopefully make it a little bit easier to see the colour. But the dove essentially is a bluish grey. It's such a beautiful tone. And that's one of the things that I really like to pride myself on is I'm very specific with the tones that I choose. So majority of the tones in my colours are quite warm, which I find suit a lot more different types of skin tones, and I find they are a lot easier to coordinate with other colours, and they tend to brighten up more skin tones than the cooler colours. So this lovely dove, it is a bluish, lovely bluish grey. On the website, obviously, the photos will be more true. So I'm just kind of testing. I'm getting a little bit thrown off because I'm not used to doing these lives at night. So it'll be really interesting to see how we go with the ring light and our house lights, because I really prefer to do everything in natural light because I find the colours are a lot truer. So that's a little bit about the fabric types that I'm using. Now, with this style, I wanted to use this in the winter time because I find you can have a little bit of a play with the sizing. So I posted something on my stories a couple of days ago, and I'm going to try from now on with every new release, I'm going to post photos of me wearing both sizes. So I'm currently in between an extra small and a small medium, so I can wear either style. I naturally tend to go for a more looser kind of fit personally, but I will actually be wearing the dress in both sizes and posting some side to side images on each of the product pages, because I really want to get across how flexible my sizing is. And I really love to layer things underneath as well as over. Because the fabrics that I use are so soft, I find it really, really easy to layer jackets and cardigans and things over the top without feeling like I have too much bulk. And for someone that does like to wear really loose garments, I am really fussy with that, because I hate feeling uncomfortable. I hate feeling, although I like loose fits, I hate feeling bulky, like I've got a lot of fabric or it's not really flattering my body. So I'm really fussy with my fabric choices, and I'm really excited to now really have these images available so you can see what it looks like to size down and have less fabric and a more fitted look, and to wear them as a loose design, because that is really intentional. That is something that I spend a lot of time on with my pattern making. So I intentionally drape the shoulders, because traditionally if you go up a size and something is just a normal Western pattern and the shoulders don't fit, it doesn't actually look good, because it's not designed to be big on your shoulders. Whereas if you look up close, my shoulders never actually fit on the shoulder. They are designed to drape, and this gives you a lot of flexibility. So as women, our bodies change so much over the years. So, you know, I find our bodies change when we hit kind of that 30 mark. Our bodies change again when we have children. Our bodies change again when we go through menopause. Any hormonal imbalances will change our body shapes, and our weight will fluctuate. I feel more so than men. So having this flexibility in your sizing, that it's still going to work if you're feeling bloated, or you know, if you're in the early stages of pregnancy and you don't want to go and buy a whole new wardrobe, it is really nice to have clothing that you know is going to go through these stages and actually look good and flatter your body. So this is something that I'm really excited to talk more about. As I have time to create content and things like that, because it is really intentional and it is something that I work really hard on, because I don't want anyone to go and spend, you know, X amount of dollars and invest in a beautiful slow fashion dress and then not be able to wear it because their body weight has changed within 6 months or so. Because these dresses that I make, I am so proud of them, and I really want them to be keepsakes and travel with you through life, and I want you to enjoy them, and I want them to be, you know, those best friends that you can rely on. And you know, if you wake up and you're not feeling so great, you can pull it out of the cupboard and you know that you're going to feel amazing in this piece. So a lot of that goes into the style and the design, but there's a lot of hours agonizing over patterns and drape and little details, just because I know that putting the effort in at that development stage is really going to get the longevity out of the garment. And I really want that for you, because that's what I want for me. When I invest in a garment, I want to know that I'm going to be able to wear it for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And I look after my clothing, as I know most of you do as well. And I'm going through a stage at the moment where I have so many beautiful, really expensive clothes that just don't fit me anymore. And yeah, it's really heartbreaking to part with these pieces, because I just really love them, but they don't actually fit anymore. So I really want my garments not to be that. I want them to really travel with you and be flexible with sizing and still look amazing. I don't want them to look sloppy and too loose, and I don't want them to look or feel too tight. I want them to actually look and feel amazing, even though, you know, your body weight might change over the years. So that's something that I do feel really proud of, and I do spend a lot of time on. And it's definitely all figured out in the development stage in the pattern making. So that's something I really love about this style, and it originated from my beautiful Dahlia dress, and that's why I had to bring it back in a really simplified design that I know we're all going to be wearing from summer to autumn to winter to spring. We're just going to be pulling the beautiful Daphne dress out in all seasons and wearing her in all these different styles. So I'm going to stop blabbering about all of this and actually get to showing you the beautiful colors up close. So I've actually settled on the charcoal for myself because I felt like I was really in need of a little black dress, and although it's not black, it's a charcoal, I find that it's going to be really easy to treat as a little black dress and dress up and dress down and wear for so many different occasions. So I've settled on the beautiful charcoal. I'm going to show you the beautiful ivory stitching. So when you come up close, you're going to see the exposed ruffle detail, beautiful hand stitching on the shoulders, on the neckline, on the cuffs here, and also on the hem. So although she's a really simple design, there's a lot of really well thought out, really considered fine details that are really special and do take a lot of time, because this is what elevates a simple design. You've really got nowhere to hide when you create some really simple classic looks. They do have to be made really well, otherwise they just don't work. So we've got the beautiful charcoal, which I have decided on, and I'm already really enjoying wearing her. There's also the beautiful oatmeal, which I couldn't go past because I know I'm not the only one that is obsessed with this gorgeous oatmeal color. And now she is going to be perfect throughout winter and also through the summer in a lighter color, obviously. But the oatmeal is really gorgeous layered with black. So I've done a few styling videos where I've popped a black funnel neck underneath, and it just really pops and looks so striking. So you can definitely wear the oatmeal through winter. And again, I'll just show you a really quick look at the dove grey, which I think she's actually coming up okay in this light at the moment. I may not get too close because I think the colour gets a little bit distorted when I get too close. So with the dove, I've actually chosen a really lovely black hand stitch for the detail, for the hand stitch detail. Just see how close I can get her without distorting the colour too much. So I thought the black hand stitching is going to look really lovely and pop against this colour, but it's also going to make it really easy for you to style her with black and with some dark colours, just giving her that dark sort of anchoring colour through the neck and the cuff detail. I thought whenever I add some hand stitching, I really think through the colours, because I want a lovely contrast, but I also want the colours to be really easy to pair back with shoes and bags and jackets and things like that. So I never want to create anything that's just impossible to style. I always want to create things that just work. So I love when you have those amazing pieces and they just work with everything that you own. That's what I want to create, and that is something that I'm really focused on, because I want things to be easy. I want things to be reached for like day after day and styled in so many different ways, because if you don't get bored after a year or two, that means that you're going to continue to wear these pieces, because sometimes we love things and we just get bored, and that's why we stop wearing them. So I want to make sure that there's enough detail and enough interest in the garments that we just fall in love with them and are drawn to them day after day. But they're also designed in a way that can be styled in so many different ways. And you know, if you get bored and you want to change your style, I want my dresses and my pieces to be able to change with you. I don't want them to look the same on everyone. I want everyone to look like themselves. And that's something that's really important to me, because I just think in this day and age with all the marketing, it's just kind of thrown in our faces so much. You know, you have to look a certain way, or you have to dress a certain way to be like young and cool and whatever. But that's not the case. Like, we can be ourselves and feel sexy without wearing tight clothes and feel beautiful. If, you know, we don't have to dress the same as everyone else to feel good and feel beautiful and feel sexy and all of that. So that's something that I really do pride myself on and think a lot about when I'm in the development stage. Yeah, so I feel like I'm rambling a little bit because, you know, I did have a little bit of wine before I started because it was quite a day today. But luckily I did write some notes. So we've gone through fabric, we've gone through style. The next bit of my notes that I can see is we're going to talk about the fit, which I have touched on a little bit. But I did want to show you, because I am converting to body measurements. So I'm just going to test for the time being removing the garment measurements and just providing body measurements. And I am going to do a bit of a measurement taking blog and just try and teach you guys like best practice of taking body measurements, because that's going to help you not only on my website, but it'll help you on other websites when purchasing other brands online as well. So there is best practice when it comes to measuring your body measurements, and also when you are taking garment measurements. And the reason that I am switching to body measurements is I think it's a lot more streamlined, and it's a lot simpler when you know how to take your own body measurements. So when garment measurements are provided, the best practice is actually to compare with a garment that you already own that's similar. So if you don't have a garment that is of similar fit and look, you might find it really hard to actually get a good understanding of whether a garment is going to fit, which is why I've decided to kind of trial body measurements going forward. And I am really going to rely on your feedback with this and just see how it's going, because I am open to trying different things and just seeing what's going to be the easiest for you. I'm happy to kind of trial a few different things and just see what majority of people are happy with. So I have gone with body measurements, but I wanted to show you with my garments where you need to focus is actually the bust. Anything else, so you don't have to worry about shoulders. So if you're someone that has petite shoulders, or if you're someone that has broad shoulders, you don't have to worry in my garments. They're always going to fit. And that's why I do the drape shoulder, because regardless of your body shape and the size of your shoulders, when you have a really beautiful drape shoulder, it's always going to fit and it's always going to be comfortable. So the main part that I want you to focus on when you're deciding on sizing is the bust, because everything that I design mainly falls from the bust. So you can decide to size down. I'm wearing a small medium, which is the nearest size comparison is a size 12, which I'm kind of between a 10 and a 12. I'm really in the middle of that sizing. So I can go the extra small, or I can go the small medium. I just prefer, like I've said in the past, I really prefer a looser fit, and I really like to layer things underneath because I do feel the cold. So I really like just feeling that movement, and I really like the feeling of loose clothing, but not everyone is like that. So you can definitely size down. And when you are sizing down, just take into account your bust measurement. So when you are taking your bust measurement, I would always recommend wearing the bra that you're going to wear with the garment, and you just get your tape measure around the fullest part of your bust, and that's where you take the measurement right there. and mine is 95, which I am going to list my body measurements online so you can do a comparison when you're choosing. But that's the only measurement you really need to take into account, because if you look at the waist, even if you were pregnant, you could definitely wear these styles. But if you're looking at me front on or even side on, it's not too voluminous and not too big. And I do think about the way that I pattern make to make sure you do get the volume and you do get, you know, all the fabric and that beautiful kind of swishy feel that we all love without feeling and looking like it's really bulky. So that's mainly what you need to focus on when you're choosing your size. Obviously, all my dresses are really flowy through the bottom, so it doesn't matter if you're a pear or an hourglass, an inverted triangle, an apple, I'm not even sure all the body shapes. It doesn't really matter, because you just have to kind of fit the bust and make sure the lengths are right for your preferences. Because they do look good if they're above the knee, they look good if they're longer. I'm 162 centimeters tall, and usually my dresses are probably between 1 to 2 inches below my knee. So I hope that gives you a bit of an indication. I did measure the length of a small medium, and it's 106 centimeters from the shoulder to the hem. And I will actually provide the length of the dresses online, because I know that we're all different heights, and that's really important to a lot of people. And just so you know, best practice, I always measure my dresses from the shoulder seam. So I don't know if you can see that. I'll try and move this so you can actually see. Yeah. So what I do, I measure from the shoulder seam here to the actual hem down the bottom, and that's how you get the length. So never measure from the neckline, because that's always going to change on every style and every dress. I would compare to a dress that you have, and I always do it from the middle of the shoulder seam. So you want it to kind of go from the middle here to the hem, and that's how you determine the length of your dress to know how long it's going to be on you. If you need any help, I'm always available through my contacts page or through DM, through email, through anything. You can always shoot me an email with your inquiry, and I'm happy to go through sizing and any details that you're interested in. So I actually really love doing that. So don't feel like you're ever bothering me. If you ever need some extra advice or extra information, definitely get in touch any way that you prefer. So regardless of whether it's Instagram or Facebook or directly via email, I don't mind helping you out when it comes to that stuff. Yes, so the last thing that I had on the list was my measurements. Just so you can kind of start thinking about it, I am going to have these measurements listed on every product page. So I'm starting off with the new products, and I'm really going to depend on your feedback as well. And if it is something that you are liking and finding a lot easier to choose your sizing, I will go back through the other styles and start working on converting those as well. So I did mention with taking measurements with the bust, so it's the fullest part of the bust that you take the measurement on. And with your waist, I'm going to be doing the natural waist for everything. I am going to do a different chart for trousers and skirts and things like that, so it's a little bit easier as well. And I am working on a blog for sizing that you can always go back and find and refer to a little bit easier than looking through my IGTVs. So waist, I always kind of go on the natural waist, which is the smallest part, but like I said, all my dresses are super loose. So if you're outside of that measurement, I wouldn't really worry too much. And then your hip measurement is on the widest part of your hip. So that's where we take that measurement. So that's where that's taken. But again, with my dresses, you can see if you're outside the measurement, so if you're bigger or smaller than my measurement that I'm going to supply online, it doesn't really matter because they're flowy dresses. So it's not really, from this half, it's not going to look any different at all. So if you're a pear shape that has struggled over your lifetime to find dresses, you are in the right place. You're not going to have to worry about that with my pieces. And lastly, which I cannot believe I've waited so long to tell you guys, these dresses have pockets. So over the years, I've had so many requests for pockets, and personally, I haven't been a fan of pockets on dresses in the past, but I understand a lot of you are, so I will be converting any dress that I can convert to having pockets. I will be doing that, and I will be popping that in the descriptions as well. And I have made them really quite deep and comfortable, so you can pop your hands in there, you can pop your phones and your keys and your snacks in there. I just wanted them to be useful. I didn't want to just add a pocket to be able to say that I've added a pocket. I wanted it to work. As you can see, I really wanted it to not interrupt the drape over the hip, because that's always been my biggest concern with adding pockets, because dresses just need to be flattering. You don't really want bulk and funny bits on your hips. So that was one of the biggest things for me. I have added a tiny bit of extra fullness so it doesn't interrupt the flow and how flattering the dresses actually are. And we have done a beautiful shape and a beautiful deep pocket, so they are functional as well. Now I'm gonna go through and see if there's any questions, so just excuse the close-up. I always get really nervous when I see how many people are on here. Hi Amanda. Oh gosh, you guys are so lovely. Thank you so much. Oh, just lots of hellos. Hi guys. Thank you so much for coming live. I'm really interested to know if this is a better time for you, because I am, like I said, I'm really flexible. I'm happy to kind of figure stuff out with you guys and see what works for you. So if you find 6:30 is a better time for a live than 1 p.m, just let me know in the comments when I upload this as an IGTV, or shoot me a DM even and just let me know whether you prefer 1 p.m. or 6:30 p.m, because I think I'm only going to be doing these once a month from now on, so I'm happy to change the time if you think it's going to be a better time. But I think I'm going to wrap it up because I want to go down and finish my dinner and give Ethan a cuddle because he's been at daycare all day, and I just want to say a massive thank you for coming on live. That was huge turnout, which is making me really nervous now that I've realized how many of you are here, but I am so grateful that you are here. I cannot wait to release this style on Sunday, and if you have any questions, shoot me a DM. I'm always around to give you guys a hand. Thank you.